Welcome back to another episode of The Best Song Wasn't the Single, episode 2 in fact. So of course we're still doing our Draketober theme, and this week we are talking all about the Nothing Was the Same to What a Time to Be a Live era. And oh my gosh, like I said last week, y'all, what a time. This was truly an era for me especially. So welcome back, sit back, kick up, and we'll talk about all my favorite songs on each album that weren't singles. So first up we have Nothing Was the Same. I think this came out in 2013. We talked about this album on Sample Sunday this week, and if you know, you know. This was the album where I was coming into my own. So like very near and dear to my heart. Alright, I wouldn't say it's one of his best albums, but it's one of the most sentimental for me, for like how I was feeling and growing and glowing, you know? So the singles off this album were Started From the Bottom, Hold On We're Going Home, All Me, Pound Cake, The Language, Too Much, and Worst Behavior. All amazing. However, my favorites off the album were the intro track, Furthest Thing, Own It, which we talked about on Sample Sunday as well, Connect, which we will be talking about, 305 to My City, which is playing in the background, and Come Through. Hey, y'all, I just wanted to come back and talk on 305 to My City real fast. I feel like nobody pays attention to the song enough, and y'all need to hear it. Because probably my favorite, Come Through, 305 to My City, and Connect. As we move through the series, y'all are probably gonna notice a pattern. It's gonna be like Michaela really, just like all the songs where he's talking about strippers and being a stripper and loving strippers, and I don't understand why. Like, I don't get it. You would think in my past life I was a stripper or something, but all Drake stripper anthems, love them. They're it. 305 to My City was the first one for me. Okay, up next we have the illustrious, If You're In This Is Too Late, a mixtape that came out in 2015. I was 16 at the time, and I was at the peak of my peak of You Can't Tell Me Nothing. Like, this album was on constant rotation. I drove my mama up the wall with this one. So the two singles off this mixtape were Preach and Energy. My favorites, first of all, Star 67. Easily my favorite off the album. That's it. Like, that's number one. Last but definitely not least, we have What a Time to Be Alive. Released also in 2015. I was still 16 and at my peak again. Like, if I was at my peak with If It Went Too Late, I was like on my top tier, acting a fool when What a Time came out. This is the introduction to the world, just how much a Drake and Future collaboration makes the world go round. Since 2015, every time they collaborate, I'm like, yeah, I gotta jump on it. Whatever it is, I love it already, because them two, then and now, are my favorite things to hear together. Anyway, the only single off of this album was Jumpman, so that leaves you 10 other songs to choose from to pick as the best songs. And when I say it was so hard for me to narrow down, I got it down to 4. So my 4 are Diamonds Dancing, Scholarships, Plastic Bag, and Change Locations. The fact that I couldn't say all of them really broke my heart. But, again, with the pattern, Plastic Bag, Diamonds Dancing, it's just like, I do deserve it. I deserve to pick up a lot of cash. You're right. I don't know what world I lived in where I used to, but I feel like he sang it to me, and he wrote this for me, and I do deserve it. Like, Like, how you gonna sweetly tell me, pick up all the cash? You deserve it. Yes, I will. Okay. Alright, y'all. That's all we have for the best song wasn't the single this week. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 where we talked about Nothing Was the Same, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, and What a Time to Be Alive. Let us know below what your favorites from each of these albums were. And join us next week as we talk about the Views of Scorpion era.